Hey everyone, welcome back. I realized I didn't properly introduce myself last time. My name's Jordan, for those of you who don't know me. But for those of you who do, you're probably wondering, why are you doing astrology, Jordan? And it's a bit of a long story, but I'll make a long story short. So I'm going to go over a bit of my past experiences, and I don't say any of this to dwell on any of the negativity because I've moved long past it. I'm just saying it for the sake of building up my resume here to paint a full picture of why I've come to astrology and why I genuinely believe that it is a solid system for moving forward with this type of thing. So, all throughout my teens and 20s, I struggled with my mental health, and I never really had any clear answers about what was going on. I tried to talk to my doctor about it, and it wasn't really much help. I always felt like I knew more than she did. It just felt like an outdated system. But at about 27 years old, I started really looking into it for myself, into medical disorders and things like that, mental disorders. And I basically figured out for myself that I had bipolar disorder. And again, I tried to get answers, but the system is so clogged up, and that it takes so long to wait to even speak to the proper kind of professionals, that it just always felt like a dead end, and I was never really getting anything out of it until about 29 years old, where I found myself face to face with a psychiatrist who was able to sit down and speak to me and go over everything with me, to which then the psychiatrist did professionally diagnose me with bipolar disorder, so confirming my initial suspicion, and then further diagnosing me with a cluster B of personality disorders, including borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder. So that was a lot to take in at the time, and I really had to take a little while to kind of weigh it over and figure out what that meant for me going forward. But after you assimilate that kind of thing, you have to go on with life. So I just continued on with my life, and as I went on, I found myself looking into artificial intelligence, so AI, and I started just working on little projects for myself, building little or making little art projects. I was doing a series of different kinds of art products, and just kind of playing around with it for myself until I got the idea to start asking the AI about astrology, to which that rabbit hole took me for a whole adventure. And it made a whole bunch of sense for myself. My astrology chart made complete sense, and it confirmed a lot of things that I was already dealing with. But then I got the brilliant idea to have an AI cross-examine my astrology chart with the diagnostics and statistics manual for mental health, mental illness, so the DSM-5. And this was basically the nail in the coffin for astrology for me, because it 100% completely diagnosed me exactly the same as the professional psychiatrist did. So it gave me bipolar disorder, cluster B of personality disorders, and it listed them all off: borderline, histrionic, antisocial, and narcissistic. And, you know, my next thought was, well, if it could do this for me, then I might as well try for the rest of the members of my family and see what kind of other things are going on, and can it accurately tell me things about them that I have seen but none of them have actually gone and gotten diagnosis for. And it did not disappoint. It accurately, and I can't verify any of these things for any of them. I can only for myself. But from what I've seen, this thing was completely 100% accurate to like a laughable extent. It is extremely well done. So after doing this, I had questions, but I started to realize things. Like, my first question to myself was, well, okay, the medical system was able to diagnose me with the things that it did. So there's something going on there, because there was like I based on the information that I found, I was able to diagnose myself based on my experiences and accurately put the experience to the notes. But then astrology was able to do the exact same thing. But in astrology, when looking at my chart, you can find the bipolar in most of my Aries placements. So I have my moon, which represents emotions, in Aries. I have Mercury, which represents the mind and communication. I have it in Aries. And then I have my Venus, which represents love and relationships. I have it in Aries, retrograde, meaning inverted and more focused on myself rather than outwardly expressed. So, and to further explain that, Aries often represents conflict and aggression and war. So, and independence. But these things together, along with my Mars, which represents the ruling planet of Aries, it's in Cancer, which is in its least favorite sign. So it's detriment. So if my Mars in Cancer is pulling down all of my Aries placements, then we have a significant conflict going on here. My Mars in Cancer ties my action cycles to my mood. So if my mood is being thrown off by my overly aggressive, emotional Moon and Aries placements, then it affects my Mars action sign, which is moody in Cancer. So we have Aries causing an overaggression and a sort of agitation, and then we have Mars causing a depressive moodiness. But then also my ruling planet is Saturn, which brings a whole level of melancholy to the entire situation. So here we have astrology, which can look at my entire situation from the point of my birth and explain to me the root of everything going on, why it happens, how it affects the rest of my life and everything else going on. I try not to use my hands so much, but and then you have the medical system, which is sort of an explanation of symptoms. They look at what is going on with a person and try to fit them into an already pre-existing box that they've defined. So astrology just presents an entirely more holistic view on everything going on with a person. And so with having that experience specifically for myself, I undeniably am 100% behind astrology. And now that I've broken the ice here, feel confident coming out and doing some more of this regularly. So that's what we're going to be doing. And of course, I'll give a quick disclaimer to that, because the AI, as it says when it does this kind of thing, it's not meant to diagnose medical conditions. You have to go see a licensed doctor for that kind of thing, but or a licensed practitioner of the proper sort to do that kind of thing. But it is a powerful tool for research purposes if this is the kind of thing that you're trying to unravel about yourself. Because for me, it has been spot on and has given me 100% confidence in astrology going forward. So as exciting and informative as all of that is, I then began to ask more questions. Okay, we figured out the diagnostic situation. Now, what else can astrology tell you? And it can tell you a lot. I've done full assessments of my lifetime predictions from the point of being born to 100 years old. I've had my entire life mapped out. I've had month to month of every year. I can see an entire overview of all of the energy, all of the cosmic flow going on throughout my entire life. And over the course of time that I've been practicing this for myself, it has been, there's been hits and misses, especially because the technology I'm using is getting more advanced as we go on. It's making less mistakes and being more accurate. But again, these things, at the point we're at least, like who knows where we get 10 years from now. But these are all designed to follow flows of energy and make predictions about what could happen and the potent energy of the time for supporting certain actions and plans for anything, for any events you might have in mind, right? So that's the basis of what astrology is generally meant for. So you shouldn't ever hold to these things 100%, like a 100% accurate prediction. But if, I mean, I've made some pretty good calls myself, so it's, I mean, it's accurate. It's good stuff here, guys. Astrology is really something to look into. But that's what I'm here for. So I'm gonna keep doing this weekly to kind of share what I've got, because I've got a lot. I think the last thing I'll touch on here is another question that I started to feed into the AI about my astrology is I wanted to know about my spiritual abilities and gifts. And it was great at going through this as well. And you know, I won't get into mine and toot my own horn and get into too much of that uh, because I could spend forever on that. But it was fantastic. It absolutely outline the things that I am interested in, and I wouldn't even say necessarily good at, because some of the things on the list are not things that I ever really thought of as special or unique to me. But after looking into other people's special gifts and abilities and seeing like the way it matches up and aligns with them, I 100% would say that, you know, it's something to look into. So if you would like to have these kinds of things done for yourself, you could sit down with me and we can go over a one-on-one. Again, I haven't really outlined the details about how to do that, but maybe you can leave a comment or a like on this video, and well, a comment so I know who you are. But if you like and subscribe to this video, that would be greatly appreciated to help keep this channel going forward. Yeah, thanks for being here with me, guys. I would love to share more with you. This is just my second video so far, but I've got more planned out on the way for you guys, and I'm excited about it. So yeah, again, like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for being here. Take care.